Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back on the bridge, and today, yes, we will be on the USS Thunderchild, aka the legendary Akira. Captains, before we get in this video, do us a favor, hit that like button, and if you're new here, welcome, but also subscribe here to the YouTube bridge, as we're always on the lookout for like-minded captains where we can share our love and passion for Star Trek Online, and of course, things Star Trek. Now, with that said, here we go. Captain, we are here now on our 6th video for the First Contact Day series. Now, we'll go over here to quickly to the YouTube log here. As you can see, we already did the Oberth, the Miranda, of course, the Soyuz, the Nebby, aka Battle Pancake. And then yesterday's video was the Steam Runner. And of course, now today we're on to the USS Thunderchild, aka, like I said, the Akira. Now, this is, of course, one of the things that we love doing here in Star Trek Online, which is these tribute videos. And we are putting front and center the Battle of Sector 001, with the ships that were there in the battle in First Contact. So one of them, of course, was the USS Thunderchild and Akira class. So we'll just go quickly over some lore of it. We'll just read this little part here. The Thunderchild made an appearance in the Peter David novel Before Dishonor. It was the first vessel to make contact with a sentient Borg cube en route to assimilate Earth. The vessel became the victim of absorption, the cube's method of assimilation, and was later destroyed by the planet killer. According to the novel, the captain of the ship at the time, as well as during the Battle of Sector 001, was named Matsuda. So there's a little history on the Akira there, especially the Thunderchild, but we'll also take a little bit of read of the Akira class here. So we'll go to this little part here. So the physical arrangement. The Akira class design ditched Starfleet's usual saucer secondary hull nacelle design and more closely resembled the NX class with its catamaran-shaped hull. The engineering section was tucked under the main saucer, which housed the main deflector and some of the ship's tactical systems. The nacelles were connected via long catamaran-type structures, which in turn connected to a large weapons pod, housing several photon torpedo launchers. The catamaran pilots offered a degree of protection for the main bridge, which retained its traditional location at the top of the saucer. And of course, there you go. This is where it appears. Star Trek First Contact DS9, Call to Arms. Tactical systems. The Akira class design incorporated a multitude of tactical systems, including at least 3 phaser arrays, and housed numerous photon torpedo launchers along the port and starboard sides of the ventral primary hull. At least 1 launcher forward of the deflector, and several located at the aft weapons pod. And of course, First Contact and grounded. The torpedo launchers located on the aft pod rotated into place before firing. And of course, that was actually something we saw in Prodigy, which is kind of cool. It gives it a little bit more unique flair, unique sort of systems here on the torpedo pod of the Akira. Of course, there's more here, but of course, we also just want to look here at its armaments. So phaser arrays, torpedo launchers. And again, nothing too different than what we've been doing. But the most important part is we are back here on the Akira. And of course, yesterday, as of this video, was the release of the legendary Strike Bundle here. And of course, we have a new Akira. And captains, that this ship has a place in my heart. Because yes, when I first saw the ship in First Contact, I immediately fell in love. And talking about torpedo launchers, yes, this thing has a bunch of them. We've seen torpedoes fire here from the deflector underneath here. We also have those torpedo launchers here on the side, which I never knew of the saucer there. Of course, the torpedo launcher there, the pod. The aft, this thing has a bunch of torpedoes. So captains, you can already imagine what type of build we have on this. Again, nothing too similar than what we've been doing. But of course, the timing of the release of this ship was pretty good. As we're in the middle of it, we're doing first contact fleet ships, and of course, this is the best time to include this. So what we're going to do is go over its build, of course, the weapon, space set, consoles, traits, stations, and DOFs, and then of course take it into a Cure Advance and see how it fares against Zeeberg. And let me tell you, Captains, last night, if you were there on the stream, you kind of got a little bit of a nerdgasm there from me, because I did not know another ship could bring me this much joy, especially a ship that we have, what, 3-4 copies of? But this indeed brought me some joy. And of course, again, as I always say, and I'll say it again, this is only for fun, and this is for my immersion, and this is what I share with you, Captains, here on the bridge. But with that said, here we go. So again, the USS Thunderchild, the legendary Akira multi-mission command cruiser. I kind of like its designation as a cruiser. And finally, we get the proper version of an Akira, which is what it should always have been here, which is a command type ship, because of the numerous photon torpedo launcher it actually has on itself here. So here we go. This is kind of what we decided to do, and I think it worked beautifully, but we will share this with you, Captain. So 4 weapons. We've been using this torpedo already in some of the builds up to this point. It is a photon torpedo launcher, reroll to crit DM and damage 3 with the spread mod, because we want this thing to spit out torpedoes like there's no tomorrow. The opening salvo should already be the waste of all of the torpedoes the ship should have, but even if it doesn't proc as much, in my mind it's working, like I always say. So there you go. 4 of those launchers on the 4. And then we round that off here with a phaser beam ray with, of course, the pen mod. And reroll to crit DM damage times 3. Of course, I got all of these just on the exchange. Space set, nothing too different here. The Elite Fleet Intervention Protomatter Deflector from your fleet colony. You have your prevailing innovative impulse engines from your competition rep. And then, of course, the mycelial harmonic matter antimatter core. And the Tilly's Review pending modified shield, both of which are from the Discovery rep. Of course, the 2-piece does give us a 120% hull regeneration. Not too bad. The aft weapons is what we have. Same thing, kind of what we've been using on the other builds up to this point. Omnidirectional phaser beam. Something I got from the exchange. Getting reroll to crit DM damage times 3. Trilithium enhanced omnidirectional phaser beam. Something that we got from the episode Nexus. So you can get a free Omni phaser beam from that episode. Of course, this gives us a chance for some haste, so all the better. And it's awesome how it says there in the tab that we went over that there was at least three phaser beam arrays. Well, at least we got three phaser beam arrays here on the ship. Lastly, of course, we have the prolonged engagement photon torpedo here. I do like putting this in the app because it does have the 180-degree targeting arc. But we got this from the event as a prize. And you can actually get this now in the Phoenix Prize Pack. I believe it's a very rare token. Highly recommended, but just something that we love using as well, because it just, especially on this, it rounds off the photon torpedo look of the ship. And it does fire, like I said, you can broadside your target and it will fire. The devices here, and yes, Captains, I did T6X this ship, and we get an extra device slot here. So we went with our torpedo candy for the plus 30% bonus projectile damage for 20 seconds. The Kobayashi Maru transponder for its buff goodness. The temporal negotiator to help with our cooldowns. Subspace field modulator to help with some damage resistance rating. And we also use reactive armor catalyst just in case, and just for a little bit of hull heal in case we need it. Universal consoles is what we did. So Lorca's custom fire controls from the Discovery rep, or its flat out 3.9% critical chance, and also gives us 157.5 Starship shield penetration. And now to one of my favorite consoles in the game, and a bit of new information. So this is the torpedo point defense system. This spits out torpedoes like there was no tomorrow from all directions. But this was before locked to the ship. It is not locked to the ship anymore. Yes! So we're going to be using this in conjunction with the other console here that we'll go in a little bit here on a lot of our torpedo builds, especially if we're trying to go for a cannon look. Well, as cannon look as we in our mind, because any ship that fires photon torpedoes, especially a medley of them, is just an awesome console in my book. But this is now unlocked, and that's awesome. So we're gonna go with this. This actually just came with the ship, of course. The next one up is the destabilized tachyon emitters. So it gives us plus 10% all directed energy damage. And what it does is a heavy area of attack there. Shield damage, shield dot, minus shield hardness. So it's going to help a little bit. But again, it's something that we decided to just keep on the ship as it does come with it. And we will also be using the point defense system. This does also come with a ship. This was always a console we can use on any ship beforehand. So that's why it didn't make sense why the torpedo point defense system was locked to the ship. But at least now it's not. So there you go. Just kind of give some additional pew-pews there. But this does have a weapon set. So we go here. So the set 2, you get plus 20% kinetic torpedo damage. Yeah, that's going to help us a little bit here. Plus 10% critical severity. But the set 3 bonus, called Advanced Tactical Systems, plus 2.5% critical chance, 15% recharge time reduction to tactical and pilot bridge officer abilities. We don't have any here, but that's fine. Plus 3 AC rating. That's going to help us a little bit, definitely. And next up is the Bio-Neural Infusion Circuits, which from Low Buy Store for the flat out 26.2% crit severity, as well as a little bit of Starship hull capacity, which is awesome. Next, of course, staple of all, most of my builds here, is the Dynamic Power Redistribution Module. It comes from the prototype Dreadnought, aka the Atlas, which you can get from your event campaign as a reward. For its 11.3 all damage resistance rating, plus 19% directed energy damage, so it'll help our 3 beams there. But also it's an oh crap button, oh crap clicky, for 20 seconds, plus 40% bonus damage, plus 100%, plus 100 bonus damage resistance rating, plus 500% hull regen. Not bad. And we're pairing it always, of course, with a point defense bombardment warhead, which plus 25% projectile damage, plus 1% critical chance. And of course, the 2-piece of this gives us plus 33% phaser damage for directed energy weapons. Again, going to help our 3 beams there, even though this is heavily a torpedo boat in my mind. Next up, the other console that we are going to be pairing, like I said earlier, with the torpedo point defense is the experimental power redirection, because this is a symphony of beam overload FA. Yes, I love it. Plus 19.9% increased energy damage, plus 13.3 Starship weapon amplification, improves critical hit severity. So this, of course, is from the Excel 2.0, which you can get, of course, from your event campaign as a prize. One of my most favorite consoles now in game caps. Highly recommended. Next up, the emulating phaser lance, of course, for our beam overload. In our mind, for its plus 15.8% phaser damage, plus 43.8 Starship shield pen. This comes from the Deimos pilot destroyer, which you can get from your event campaign as well. Great, great console in my opinion. And then we just rounded off with 3 vulnerability locators for torpedoes for the plus 2% critical chance, plus 34.5% torpedo weapon damage. Our stats. This gives us 44.1% crit chance, and our crit severity is at 188.3%. And of course, keep in mind, Captains, I have my Pandevers ranked to 600. Yes, I can go to 750 if I wanted to, but we were doing fine before they added the 150 points, and we're doing fine now. So I like to do more with less sometimes. There you go. Our skills, again, haven't changed it. Probably will never change it. to be honest with you. We got 8 spent in engineering, 10 spent in sci, and 28 spent in tactical. If you want to pause the screen here, captains, you can do so you can see where I've allocated my points. And of course, specialization is primary intel, secondary is temporal. Traits, this is what we decided to do this time. So of course, one of our favorite traits, Care Wave Shield Hacking. This takes out the shield of your enemy for a bit. 5 seconds using Tractor Beam. And then we can go straight to hull damage in that little window. But it helps. Entwine Takedown Matrices for back-to-back torp spreads. Ceaseless Momentum. Universal Designs. And the next 2 traits that we decided to use. Weapon System Synergy. Torpedo performance enhanced by energy weapons. Yes. And a trait that we were just wanting to we should have used probably on Steam Runner, but we didn't. Since we didn't, we're going to use it on here. Piercing Projectiles. Projectile fire modes grant hull plus shield penetration. So that's always good. And yes, I did T6X this ship. Captains, because like I said, normally I don't do that on ships that I won't normally use all the time, but on ships that I plan on using a lot, or ships that I like, no problem. I T6X it. Plus, as of this video, we did get a free T6X upgrade for the problem Stowe had this past weekend. So yeah, no brainer there for me. Space Reputation is what we have going on. Omega Kinetic Shearing. Advanced Targeting Systems. Torpedo Pre-Fire Sequence. Precision. And Tyler's Duality. For the active Space Rep. Anti-time entanglement singularity, biomolecular shield generator, deploy sensor interface platform, quantum singularity manipulation, and refactoring tetron cascade. Our stations left to right, top to bottom, as we always do. We went with tractor beam here, scramble sensors, chemosite laced weaponry, and beam fire at will. And of course, the main damage dealer this time is torpedo spread 3. Yes, we are going to make this thing spit out torpedoes because of the amount of torpedo launchers the model actually has. Then we have distributed targeting, emergency powered engines, emit unstable warp bubble. Finally, concentrate firepower 3 on an Akira. Yes, yes. And then, of course, we're going to call some help with Call Emergency Artillery 3. And since this is a Miracle Worker, and I love this power, we're always going to use this. Destabilize Warp Core at any chance we have. The explosion visually looks really nice. And we're going to pair that up with Delayed Overload Cascade. Some kinetic damage there. And we're going to use Mixed Armament Synergy to help us boost our torpedo damage as well. So there's the stations, and now to our dots. We go to our dots. We have the 2 on ground helping us in space. Neil Falconer, of course. Increased damage versus De Berg. Fitting that he's on this because he was in First Contact. Eldrin Malikatan. Space increased damage versus all. And for active space, we actually didn't change this from the Steam Runner, but we have 1 energy weapon officer to help us for a chance to stack crit severity when we fire weapons. 2 projectile officers to help us give us a chance to stack crit severity when we're firing weapons, and the other projectile weapons officer is a chance to reduce time to recharge torpedoes. Emergency Con Holographic Con Officer here recharges evasive maneuvers, the EBC maneuvers, when we hit emergency power to engines. And then Dlyrene here for the increased damage versus the bird. So yes, captains, super happy with this. And again, I'm glad, 1, it's a command ship finally. I wish it was kind of full command. Don't matter. I'll take it. And also that it's designated as a cruiser, because I've always kind of had in mind that these are the Akira class ships are the ones to eventually replace the ships like the Excelsior, the long-standing ships there that we have, because this is part of the new generation of board killers, and indeed this is one of the ships that we fell in love with. So again, we're going to take this into Cure Advanced, see how it does. We're going to go to the left docking station there, take out that cube and everything there. Then as we zip across to the right side, take out those ships heading towards the Kang, because that's one of our objectives, is to protect the Kang from blowing up. Take out the right docking station, clean up a little bit, and then take out the middle, any ships that are heading over there, and then finishing off the TFO. So here we go. Yes, captains, we were, like I said, last night when we first took this out, we were just absolutely impressed with how well the ship did. And I always use Cure to kind of gauge how a ship does, especially taking out the cube while it's still being regenerated by the probes underneath it. So here we go. Yes, get ready for a torpedo frenzy. Here we go. And yes, I didn't use a hangar bay on it because, like I said, we did not see any hangar bays or any pets used in First Contact. We'll head over here to the left first. Take this out. Take that out. There goes the cube. Beautifully, if I may add. Take out that, of course. Take out that Raptor. Now head around here. Look at that. We took care of the ships behind us. Yes! Take care of these ships here. Take out those ships. Take out this over here. Just look at the torpedoes just flying. It just feels so right too, coming from this ship. And there is the beautiful explosion. There you go. Stabilized warp core, of course. Take care of these ships trying to sneak up behind us. We won't allow them to. Get some torpedo action here before we head over to the right cube. There you go. Bye. Woo! Fly-by explosion. Love it. Head closer here to this. Say goodbye to the cube here. Just goodbye. And look, took care of that. Awesome. Take care of these remaining Negvar ships heading towards the Kang. Take out this Negvar here. We've already started the attack here on the cube. Take that out. Use that console, because why not? Torpedo spread 3. Look at that beautiful symphony. Yes! Yes! The joy. The simple joys. It's the simple things in life, my caps. I like my pew-pews. Okay? And there you go. Boom! After... Oh, look at you trying to sneak away here. Come here. Come here. Look at that. That's an awesome visual there. Akira Defiance raining fire down on an Negvar. Bye-bye. And look at that. Done. Whew. Love it. Yes. Okay, can't get out of here. Yeah. Go. Go. Let's finish this off, captains. See how fast we can take this one out here. So we'll do this first. Little torp spread there. Energy candy. Come on, torpedo, there you go. Bye. Ha! Yes! Yes! Ooh! So beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yes, Captains. One sec, sir. Let's go over here, quickly take a selfie. Captains, if you don't know what that is, those are our ship selfies. Have a picture of the Akira with Borg bits behind us, signifying that we whoop the Borg. All right, let's get out of here. And then let's give our final conclusions. But I think you know, Captains, how I already feel about this ship. Just a little. I think you already know. This probably did the best of so far up to this point of all the builds we've done for First Contact. But Captains, there you go. That is the build. That is the ship. That is how it did. It came, it fused, and it destroyed the Berg. And again, the timing of the release of the legendary Akira is awesome. Of course, it had to be the next ship that we use here in our First Contact Day fleet ship tributes that we do here, and it's just good. And this, actually, I'm not one to parse, but last night in a group, this thing did, and we had maybe, we had a tank there, and this did like 390 KTPS in an ISE. So it was just by chance we had someone who's parsing. Actually, Nick was parsing there, so huge shout out to Nick there. And this was the second highest ship. And of course, again, with this casual, filthy casual build, it did that much. And that just speaks to how awesome this ship is. So I'm really super happy that we were able to now finally get the proper or a proper Akira here in game in Star Trek Online that makes use of its just many torpedo launchers here, because it, in my mind, this always had to be a command. So there you go, Captains. That is the video. Do us a favor. Hit that like button, and in the comments below, let us know if you got the ship, and let us know what you did in terms of your build, and let us know what you think of this ship. And of course, Captains, we're going to continue on with our First Contact Day ships fleet tribute. Of course, with the remaining ships, we have the Saber left, the Norway, Defiant, and Sovereign. Man, it's just been so much fun, and we're going to continue to do this as long as we can and enjoy every video that releases here. And thank you, Captains, for always checking out these vids. I am very humbled. I'm very appreciative. So again, subscribe here to YouTube Bridge, and we will leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.
And maybe one more yes. Yes, yes, yes! 3 yeses.